Hello, learners. Today we shall understand metaphysical poetry. If you are preparing for any competitive exams in literature, then this topic is a must read for you because so many questions are asked from this particular section. So, without much delay, let's start. Literary critic and poet Samuel Johnson first coined the term metaphysical poetry in his book Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets. The most important characteristic of metaphysical poetry is that it is a blend of emotion and is characterized by conceit or wit. Metaphysical poetry explored a few common themes. They all had a religious sentiment, and many of the poetry explored the theme of carpe diem and the humanity of life. The term metaphysics refers to the philosophy of knowledge and existence. The boldness of the literary devices used, especially obliquity, irony, and paradox, is always reinforced by a dramatic directness of language. A diverse group of 17th century English poets started using intellectual and theological concepts in surprising concepts, strange paradoxes, and far fetched imagery. They were known as metaphysical poets. John Donne was the leading metaphysical poet. Others include George Herbert, Henry Vaughan, Andrew Marvell, and Abraham Cowley. John Donne was the founder of the metaphysical school of poetry, who lived and wrote during the succeeding reigns of Elizabeth I, James I, and Charles I. He was famous for his use of the metaphysical conceit. Conceit is a strange and interesting comparison between two subjects when they in fact have very little in common at all. Now let's go through few of his contributions. Go and catch a falling star. In this poem, Donne explains how hard it is to find a beautiful woman who will stay true and loyal to her husband. To prove his point, he uses fantastic and impossible examples of catching falling stars, pregnancies with mandrake roots, and hearing mermaids singing. A valediction forbidding mourning. This is one of the most famous poems by John Donne. The subject matter of the poem is the parting of two lovers. It contains one of Donne's most famous metaphysical conceits, in which he argues for the lovers' closeness by comparing their two souls to the feet of compass. The Good Morrow. Love is the predominant tone of the poem. It abounds in the use of conceits like hemisphere, geographical world, discoverers, seven sleepers of ten, room, and so on and so forth. The next poem is The Ecstasy. It ponders upon the relationship between soul and body. In Donne's opinion, spiritual love cannot be attained but through physical love. Ideal love is both spiritual and physical. The next in the list is one of the best lyrics of Donne's poems. It is The Flea. Here, Donne masterfully sets out his argument, the logical, calculating male speaker against the resistant female, with a tiny flea as catalyst and metaphor. Donne has brilliantly compared the body of the flea to a temple and a marriage bed. In Twickenham Garden, Donne has most probably addressed to the Countess Lucy of Bedford, for whom he had a profound admiration. The poem expresses the speaker's anguish after being deceived by a lady in love. The poet also employs several themes such as frustration, anguish, love, appearance versus reality, and natural beauty. George Herbert. George Herbert was known as the saint of the metaphysical school. He was a devout Anglican clergyman who believed that a poet should sing the glory of God. He describes his joys, fears, and doubts in a symbolic way. Many of his poems are overloaded with far fetched conceits. Some of his famous poems are The Collar, Easter Wings, A Wreath, The Pulley, and Discipline. Andrew Marvell. Andrew Marvell was another metaphysical poet who was a Puritan. He served as Milton's assistant in the Commonwealth. He read in Nature's Mystic Book and wrote poems on nature. He was a pioneer in the kind of political verse satire that would be perfected by his younger contemporary John Dryden and in the next generation by Alexander Pope. His famous poems are To His Coy Mistress, The Garden, Upon Appleton House, The Coronet, and The Unfortunate Lover. That brings us to the end of the video. Do drop your insights, reflections, and questions in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed our literary journey today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more captivating explorations. Thank you so much for watching.